In this episode of Spooky Coop, number 44, Paul and Michelle talk about the 1942 Battle of Los Angeles incident. Hi everyone, I'm Paul.
And I'm Michelle.
And you're in
The Spooky Coop.
Welcome to the Spooky Coop. Hope you're not chicken. Hello, Michelle.
Hey, Paul. Where have you been?
Where have I been? Tonight we're going to have some fun. We're going to just fire right through this, everybody. And unless we say something absolutely horrific, you're going to get the whole organic thing raw without any editing. We're just going to have some fun and go do it.
Yeah, let's see.
So welcome to the Spooky Coop, the show where the lights are low, the coffee is strong, and the historical records occasionally are more unsettling than the ghost stories.
That's true. This is a good one for it, too.
Tonight we're going to talk about Los Angeles in 1942, a night when a city already terrified by war looked up at the sky and started shooting. Not film as you might expect in the land of Hollywood, but real guns. Big guns.
Big guns.
Big guns. This is the Battle of Los Angeles, not a battle in the usual sense. There was no confirmed invasion force, no bombs were dropped, no enemy plane was found. And yet, in the early hours of February 25th, 1942, American anti-aircraft guns fired roughly 1,400 rounds into the sky over Southern California.
Yeah, there might have been, I don't know. Never mind.
1,401 or 1,396? You want to get exact?
No.
Is this the autistic side of you that's coming out now?
No.
And, depending on which official you asked, they were firing at Japanese aircraft, a mysterious object, a weather balloon, or absolutely nothing at all. So, wartime panic, military confusion, or one of the strangest what was that moments in American history?
Well, let's find out.
Let's turn out the lights and go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
To understand why Los Angeles reacted the way it did, we have to understand the date. February 25th, 1942. Stop rustling your papers.
Oh, you know what, though? It was L.A. Doesn't matter what date it was,
It
really.
doesn't, no. Pearl Harbor had been attacked less than 3 months earlier. The United States was now at war with Japan. People on the West Coast did not see an ocean between themselves and danger. They saw an open front door. And this fear was not imaginary. 2 days before the Battle of Los Angeles, on February 23rd, a Japanese submarine shelled the Ellwood oil field near Santa Barbara. The attack did limited damage, but psychologically, it was enormous because it proved that the war could reach California. Los Angeles was also packed with shipyards, aircraft factories, oil facilities, military sites, and ports.
It was insane. People were losing their flip-flops. It was awful.
Total and complete chaos.
Yeah.
Beach towels everywhere. Where was I?
I don't know. California.
California. We were in California. Los Angeles was packed with shipyards, aircraft factories, oil facilities, military sites, and ports. Just to recap, it was a major defense production center. If Japan wanted to damage the American war effort, Southern California was a logical target. The city had blackout rules, air raid wardens, sirens, searchlights, and anti-aircraft batteries. By February 1942, people had been preparing and practicing for an attack. But practice is one thing. At 2:25 a.m. in the morning, the city went dark for real. The official Western Defense Command statement said that cities in the Los Angeles area were blacked out at 2:25 a.m. after unidentified aircraft were reported in the area. Over to you, Michelle.
Yeah, well, you think that is something. Can you imagine waking up to air raid sirens? You're sleeping in your house, right? It's quiet. All of a sudden, power's out. Pitch black everywhere. You hear these sirens going off. You're thinking, oh, no, we're going to get bombed. And not the way you usually get bombed in L.A. And everyone's screaming. Hey, I've been there. Everyone's screaming. Your radio is silent. You can't figure out what's going on. So you run out your house And when you get out of the house, you see these things flying, blackout across the whole area. You don't see anything out there except for people coming out of their houses. Some of them have flashlights and stuff. Now, this isn't a time where you had cell phones, and so you're coming out of there, and then all of a sudden the air raid wardens, the people around there that are in charge of keeping people safe, like your neighborhood watch, they're telling you, shut off the lights. We have to have everything quiet. So now you're standing there in the pitch dark. Maybe you got a 3-month-old baby on your hip or something. And then about 3 o'clock in the morning, like about a half hour after you get yourself outside, next thing you know, guns are going off, trailers are going off, and I don't mean like the ones with wheels. I mean like the flares behind gunshots. They're flying off. Not even warning shots. All of a sudden, everywhere, and rifles and anti-aircraft guns, and it's going on from like all the way to Santa Monica, and not, everywhere. Long Beach, Seal Beach, you name it. Searchlights. It's like so many searchlights. You think that people are selling used cars everywhere. I mean, have you ever seen those with the big? Never mind.
Not for some years, but I understand what you're saying. Yep.
Yep. And the firing kept going and going, and this is where it becomes really weird, because the people had no idea. They had no way to share it. They had no, nobody had cell phones then, right? Obviously. A lot of people didn't even have house phones. I mean, this is, the early 40s. And, of course, nobody could grab a cell phone and take nobody had, even a regular old camera to run out with. Cameras back then, if you had them, they were expensive, and chances are you didn't think, oh my God, my house is being bombed out. Quick, grab the camera.
Especially at night. Night photography was not a big thing, and if you had a camera, you had a little bit of money on hand as well.
Yeah, so it was like quick, today. Grab the money, not quick, grab the camera. And then you shove the little flash bar in, you take a picture, and all you get, never mind. Anyhow, it's the last thing you're going to do is quick grab the camera. So there aren't really any pictures except for maybe what news photographers took.
Yeah, there's one famous picture that we'll get to later on.
Yeah, so when you think of it, right, nobody knows what's going on. Contemporary newspaper accounts are full of uncertainty. People are reporting lights. Some people are reporting that they saw an aircraft. Some describe it as a slow-moving object. Some say that it was a unidentified type of light in the sky. Some people, they're saying all these different things.
Yes.
Some people say that they didn't see anything at all.
Yes, the Glendale News Press reported that same day an unidentified object had been described variously as a balloon and an airplane. It also reported that observers saw searchlights converge on one point in the sky. One especially valuable eyewitness account came later from Edward Bennett, who had been near El Segundo during the barrage. I hope I pronounced El Segundo properly. I'm not from LA, so I apologize if I've mispronounced it.
Oh, I was worried about Bennett.
Bennett. Yeah. Edward Benita. Excuse me. Anyway, he said he went outside with binoculars and believed he saw 3 planes very high overhead amid the searchlights and gunfire. That does not prove there were enemy planes. It tells us that at least one witness sincerely believed he saw them. And that distinction matters throughout this story. A person can truthfully describe what they experienced while still being mistaken about what caused it. At night, under stress with bright searchlights, exploding shells, smoke, and falling fragments, human perception gets weird in a hurry. Right. You think so? Especially when the whole city is already expecting an attack.
Go ahead.
May I?
Yeah, sure.
Even if no enemy attack occurred, the danger was real. Anti-aircraft shells do not simply vanish when they fail to hit a target. Shell fragments and unexploded rounds came down across the area. Over to you, Michelle.
Well, that's happened to me before. At not anti-aircraft, but Here, I'm going on a tangent, but that's what you get with live. I hit by a shell from a fireworks twice. I have
Lucky you.
yeah, lucky me. It's a good thing I was genetically born with asbestos hair.
Did you have that pamphlet, What to Do When You Become Engulfed in Flames?
Yeah, that was a great book.
Okay.
Anyway,
They have a pamphlet like that in Japan hotel rooms, I
yeah,
hear.
it's get under the desk. Yeah.
Hide under the bed.
No, under the desk.
Under the desk.
The Glendale News Press described the damage of property. They included shattered windows. They said shells flagged. Now, I'm just reading this because I have the list here. They included shattered windows, shell fragments that landed on a bed that somebody had been sleeping in until the air raid.
Oof.
Yeah, can you believe that? It
No.
also, it's true. It also reported that an unexploded anti-aircraft shell landed in a Santa Monica driveway. I thought that was pretty cool. Somebody almost had one of those flying cars.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. And there were civilian deaths connected to it as well, which is sad to say.
That's sad to say. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but not from any enemy bombs. But in the midst of everything, because of the chaos, contemporary reports from them, they said contemporary, but I think what they meant was reports at that time.
It's almost like War of the Worlds, isn't it? When it was a fake radio thing and people panicked and next thing you know, horror ensued. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Reports described fatal traffic accidents as people were panicking, trying to run away. And several people had heart attacks. So, that wasn't so nice. It was just terrible. I'm reading this going, oh my God, that's awful. The city said it was defending itself against an attack. They never, ever, said that it wasn't an attack. They just said that as far as they knew, something may not have materialized, but it doesn't matter. People still died. The city never took responsibility for it, apparently. And which is a very human trait to say, hey, it's not our fault.
That's somebody else's problem.
Yeah. As far as we knew, it was somebody else's problem.
That huge 500-foot lizard is not our problem. That's
Go Godzilla.
Tokyo's problem. Go
You're
ahead.
just afraid of my bearded dragon.
I am indeed.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's
the
more
other
the
thing
skink
that was
that's got me on nerves.
the
It
other-
looks like a snake with
the
legs.
other thing that's really human-like
9 feet
that's
long.
the skink, the blue tongue skink.
Yes.
The other thing that's kind of creepy and really kind of human in a way is the next day, people were running around in the area looking for shrapnel and pieces of destroyed things, firearms and stuff to keep as souvenirs. And that was kind of creepy. It's like, it almost reminds me of back in the late 1700s and 1800s when people would get beheaded or hung. And, like in Europe.
It sounds like you're going to a pretty extreme place here.
No, but people would run, even back further, people would run into areas where a person had just been executed and try to grab a piece of their clothing, some of their hair, something from the executed body. Even way back in biblical times, they would even try to get some of the blood of somebody who had been executed, maybe not in the exact area of the biblical times, but in that area we're talking about biblically, but in that time.
Yeah. No doubt for cocktails that evening at dinner, yeah.
Ugh. But as some good luck charm or for whatever reason. Anyway,
So did the city
please
defend...
don't go and collect morbid souvenirs. Especially don't say I said do it. Don't do it. You know why? You'll probably get haunted. I've seen way too many people get haunted by collecting souvenirs.
And
from
if you hire
something.
an exorcist and don't pay your bill,
You'll be repossessed.
yes, that's right.
Yes, the number one thing we see people getting in trouble from is picking up something that, like, oh, wow, somebody was shot here. Look, I found a bullet casing. I think I'm going to slip this in my pocket. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're still on here.
Yeah.
This is your bit here.
Yeah. Anyway, pretty much newspapers helped, create this lasting memory that became part of this event that people still know about because people from back then now, I would guess that unless they were a small child back then and now they're in their 80s or 90s, they would have been just born if they're in their 80s. They would have to be in their 90s if they were even children old enough to remember this.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have known it if it didn't get all over the place. As a matter of fact, I think it went pretty much countrywide. You could tell us more about that.
Yeah. The Los Angeles Times covered the alarm on February 26 under the striking headline, Army says alarm real. The Glendale News Press ran, anti-aircraft guns blast at L.A., mystery invader, raid, scare blacks out Southland, but Knox claims false alarm. This quote here does not make sense to me. Raid, scare blacks out Southland.
Oh,
And Knox, that's what it is. Knox,
it means
Knox
raids.
is Frank Knox from the Secretary of the Navy, so he claimed it was a false alarm.
Yeah, and I think we need to take time to clarify that this is not a racial statement. I think because of the way it was written, people in this cancel culture and people may feel that sounds like a racial statement.
No,
but
they're just saying
it
the
means
raid's
it scares
scare.
that there was a blackout of lights.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Radio. So the story, it gets national news. The Evening Star in Washington, D.C. carries reports of unidentified aircraft over Los Angeles, and the Associated Press dispatches spread the story to papers across the country, including the Midland Reporter-Telegram in Texas. An exciting day in Texas in 1942.
Hey, while we were milking the cows, we read that...
So the public was receiving two competing messages at the same time. The Army said there'd been a real alarm. The Navy said, no, there's no planes over Los Angeles.
Yeah, but the Navy are in boats.
Yes, they're offshore.
Of course, the Army's on foot. What did the Air Force say?
Yeah, that's
You
right.
notice the Air Force is missing?
They're noticeably missing from this article.
That's because they were being shot at.
Why is there no air? It was their product. They sent up a Zeppelin. So anyway.
Oh, the humanity.
It's not exactly a communication strategy you want while thousands of people are finding shrapnel in their yards. Yeah,
anyway, guys.
It wasn't real. Don't worry. Nothing to see here. Cows turn themselves inside out every single day.
Oh, God, it is interesting.
So the Secretary of the Navy...
Add the new theory. It was
the Air Force that did it. Yes, it's probably not that new a theory here. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So the Secretary of the Navy, Frank Knox, was
Who was the one in the newspaper?
In the newspaper that we mentioned just
it wasn't
briefly.
Don Knox.
Doesn't Don? No.
I can see
Dolphins.
him doing
Dolphins.
it.
Yeah. Was blunt. He said that as far as the Navy understood, there'd been no planes over Los Angeles, and his conclusion was that it was a false alarm.
But it wasn't over Los Angeles. It was over the ocean near us, Los Angeles, right? Because they were shooting.
I don't know about that.
Oh.
They're pretty. I mean, the research that we have here that we were looking at.
Oh, I thought it was over It was over. I thought it was over Santa Monica.
No.
Oh, I thought
it was over Ellwood. I can't say the word.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're
El
only going to
Secundo.
El Secundo.
And I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm sorry for all the wonderful people in El Secundo for mispronouncing the name of your town. Anyway, over to you, dear.
What?
Over to you. This is your part here.
Oh, so the public received two different stories.
Yeah.
Okay. The Secretary of the Navy, you already talked about that guy, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But Army officials were more hesitant. some of them said, hey, this was cited, but, military accounts are suggesting that this was like something that was identifiable as an aircraft, but may have been not involved. Aircraft had been involved. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it wasn't a mistake. They were kind of like hemming and hawing around. Official records were so confused because the event itself was confused. Radar contacts, visual sightings, reports from the coast, reports from civilians.
I think that is, yeah.
Yeah, flashes and bangs of the barrage of all the stuff that they shot into the air, the flares, everything that fed into one another, the panic, people just saying, I saw this, I saw that.
One could say it was both a symphony and a cacophony of ordnance all at the same time.
Yes, but one could say everything is music.
Everything is music.
Anyway, so they use that. They use that confusion to say, hey, how could we even know? But was there anything on the radar? They never said.
Did they have radar?
Yeah, they did. Of course they did.
In 1942?
Well, that says right here. It said they were confused. The radar contacts.
Oh, they did have radar.
So, was there something on the radar? Anyway, it says right here, it's got a radar, right? Anyway, you're the one who gave me this. And the anti-aircraft barrages were firing. Every shell burst looked like, evidence that there was something there. But you know how those things, just like fireworks, make those big clouds of smoke, right? Mm-hmm. And so the banging behind the clouds of smoke could make big white flashes behind clouds that may look like there's a big light thing, like maybe there's a ship or a like you said, Zeppelin or a UFO or even a moon or something behind the smoke. And because it started feeding itself like a feedback loops. Like, so let's say Bob and Carol were there, and Bob says, oh, there's nothing up there. Look, it's just a bomb going off. And then Carol says, look in the smoke. There's a circle behind it. And he's like, oh, wow, there is something there. And then another thing blows up, and the smoke gets darker, but the thing behind it gets brighter. And then, and it goes on. And then they're talking to each other back and forth until they start to feed into this. Now, this is one of the common things people will tell you. Oh, you just saw a light of a plane behind a cloud, and that was your UFO.
Right.
And so this is how some people say people see UFOs, but it's not the way UFOs work. If people really see real UFOs, sometimes I suppose people could see a star or something smeared behind a cloud. But in this case, I mean, this is a progressive method.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of yourself here because we're going to go into the theory soon.
Oh, well, you know me. I got a mouth that just... Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so we're going to take the theories.
Yeah,
We'll take the theories one at a time. So, theory one was a Japanese attack. It was understandable to think so. Pearl Harbor was recent.
I really like Japanese people.
I'm not going to even add to that. I'm just going to let that sit right there. So Pearl Harbor was recent. A Japanese submarine had shelled Ellwood 2 days earlier, and the West Coast was on edge. But there's no confirmed evidence that Japanese aircraft attacked Los Angeles that night. No bombs were dropped. No confirmed aircraft wreckage was found, and no enemy planes were confirmed shot down. After the war, Japan said it had not sent aircraft over Los Angeles during this alert. Well, that's an interesting point of fact there. They after the war, they said they didn't do it. Okay, so, and historians point out that the later Japanese balloon bomb campaign did not begin until 1944. So those famous paper and bomb balloons were not the cause of this 1942 incident.
But they were folded amazingly.
It was the largest flying origami bird ever in history.
Yep.
And somebody did not make it into Guinness for this. So they could have there could have been some sort of reconnaissance flight. It's been suggested, but there's no convincing evidence to establish that possibility or fact as occurring. So as a factual conclusion, a Japanese attack is possible only in the loosest sense that people feared it at the time. It's not supported as the best explanation by the evidence we have.
And the thing didn't make any sound either. If there were a plane there, several planes or attack squadron.
Well,
especially
to
in
be
those
fair,
older...
once they started the bombing, there's no you couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, but the sirens went off at 2:25-ish.
Yeah.
And so for a half hour after the sirens went off to the bombing, you would have, if those were propeller planes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it was a huge origami airplane.
Yeah, but then all they had to do was light a match. Okay, I'll get back in my box.
You, with the arrow, light the end, fire it up, let's go.
Okay, the second theory people had was that it was a balloon, and everybody was like freaking out with their war nerves
as well.
War nerves. That's what I said. Yeah, people are freaking out with war nerves. Gotcha. Okay, and people think that this is far more likely, but okay, because just like we were saying that people had wartime nerves, and that anything they saw set them off. Mm-hmm. And they were thinking maybe it was a weather balloon, and the bomb shells and the flares and everything made it kind of light up, and then people were kind of getting really weird about it. This seems too simple. At least to me, it just seems a little too simple because, first off, what's a weather balloon going around 2:00 in the morning for? Mm-hmm. All right.
During a time when people are scared of, a possible attack.
Unless maybe they were planning an attack that morning and needed to know what the weather was like.
But they denied the attack.
No, like the U.S. was planning an attack in the... No, they were planning to leave that area to fly to Japan on an attack, and they needed the weather. Okay?
I'm sorry, I had to test the statement. It just caught me wrong.
Yeah, but if that was the case, they were not going to be flying out of L.A., or the balloon was flying in the wrong direction. And if the balloon was flying in the wrong direction towards L.A., then they were really stupid that they couldn't figure out that the wind was going in the wrong direction before they set out the balloon.
Now, didn't the U.S. Air Force, they claimed it was could have been a lost weather balloon?
Well, why would they?
So here the U.S. Air Force shows up.
Yeah, but the question is, okay, was it a bunch of geese with light? No, anyway, as far as the weather balloon thing goes, okay, if you want to go fly, what would it be in that case? West towards Japan. Yeah. Okay. And you want to know how fast the winds are going towards Japan.
One problem with that, there's this thing called the westerlies. They blow east.
Yeah, but why would you? Well, that's just it. If you want to see how the upper winds, because
right, okay,
those balloons are supposed to go way, way, way up.
I think you're beating a dead horse.
Yeah. So if you want to find out how it's going west, why would you put one up when you know everything's going east and it's going to blow it towards shore? Okay. Also, so that's that. And why would you even take that chance if you have a city full of people who are afraid of an attack? There's a theory that no one put out that I have in the back of my mind. I'll tell you after. Okay. The important point about this weather balloon thing that kind of takes it off the table is that if it were a weather balloon and they all started firing and stuff, couple of things. There was no consensus on what people saw. Okay. Some people saw something that looked like clouds. Some people saw something that was round. Some people saw something that had a shell type look. Some people saw something, that looked this way or that way. Some people saw nothing at all. I mean, what was it? Was it there? Was it not there? The Navy saw no reason to do anything about it, yet the Army was firing on it. And the phrase war nerves can be dismissed, but maybe it's not. Maybe what happened after Pearl Harbor made the commanders so nervous that they had like a hair trigger. Mm-hmm. Something bothered them and they start shooting. I'll tell you about my fourth theory after you read the next one, and then you could tear my theory down. Oh, I'll tell you my next theory, and you could tear it down before we talk about our last theory.
We have 2 more theories to go.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. You want me to go to the...
Yeah, I want to squeeze
theory number 3.
Yeah.
That's number 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Secret aircraft or a cover-up. This is the origami part of it.
Okay.
Massive origami from the Air Force. Okay, the next theory is that the military knew more than it admitted. Maybe it was an American aircraft, a test, or an event covered up to avoid panic. The problem is the evidence. There is no credible documentation showing a secret aircraft over Los Angeles that night, and firing more than 1,000 rounds into the sky over a densely populated region would be an unbelievably reckless way to test one. I agree with that. The contradictory statements from the Army and Navy do make people suspicious, but confusion is not automatically a cover-up. And World War II military bureaucracy could produce contradictory accounts even when nobody was hiding aliens in the hangar. We need to make a T-shirt.
Hiding aliens in the hangar?
Hiding aliens in the hangar.
I hit my mic. Sorry, I hit my thing. I do that.
Don't use your thing.
So you can put a shirt and put a clothes hanger on it and have an alien kind of contorted in it.
Yeah. We should put that. We should make one of those and have that made up and put it in the merch shop.
Yeah, we have to get a merch shop.
We have a merch shop, but it's went and buggered it up on us. I have to go fix it. Gosh darn it!
Ah.
But I think that's what we'll do. We'll put hiding aliens in a hangar.
The alien hangar.
Yes. So now we arrive at the theory that made the Battle of Los Angeles a permanent part of paranormal history.
Aha! I got another one, though. It's kind of like that one that you just said.
Okay.
What if there's a twist on that?
Okay.
Okay, because this is about the time that the government was doing a lot of human experiments. What if they knew...
That's not well known.
Yes, it is.
In 1942?
No, it's well known now.
Yes.
But it wasn't known at all back then.
No.
What if they wanted to do... They knew the wind was coming onto shore. It comes onto shore a lot over there. What if they knew that the sirens and all the shooting and everything would bring out a certain percentage of people? And so by doing that... Now, I have no proof on this at all. This just came to me while we were talking, okay? If anybody wants to look this up, that would be awesome. Look it up, send it to us. They knew a certain percentage of people would come out. Mm-hmm. And so they already have an idea of the general population. They don't even have to track who's who. They can just look at it through population, right? Mm-hmm. The people who are out... watching these things, these shells blowing up, all this stuff that they're throwing up into the sky is laced with something that they're testing. And as these things are going off, it's leaving whatever powder, whatever germ, whatever bacteria, whatever chemical, whatever is in those things is catching into the wind and blowing back in the wind onto shore. And these people are breathing it, or it's touching their skin, it's getting into whatever. Mm-hmm. And then they wait so many years, or they follow the progression of this particular population as opposed to a different population to see if there's any jump in a illness, to see if there's any, or even if it's something benign, but they see a jump.
You're talking like the MK Ultra, put the flu in the light bulb and throw it in the subway type of deal.
Yeah, but nothing that something like, could they? Let's say they put something in it like a certain type of flu, okay? And all of a sudden they see that there's a big outbreak of influenza JFK, okay? And they all start talking.
That's terrible.
They all say, I've got a runny nose like that, or something, right? And they see all of a sudden this flu that was made in a lab that no one's ever gotten, all of a sudden there's an outbreak in that area. Then they know they can deliver a bug in war shells. And so maybe then they know that they can do this without getting caught, because at that point there's already been rules against using deadly chemicals and deadly viruses in a time of war. But if you can make it something that is, something they can't trace, sorry about the papers, but I'm thinking back to, weaponizing COVID or something.
Let's move on to theory number 4.
Dun dun dun.
And because you expounded so much,
I'm
going to take over the last theory 4.
Yes.
Which is
so our words balance.
Which is the whole reason we exist as a podcast, the theory of UFOs.
Well,
or something
not the whole reason,
paranormal or true crime. But anyway, so we arrive at this theory that it has now become a permanent part of paranormal history. So the famous image connected to the event in Los Angeles,
you can find it on the internet.
Yeah, it's a Los Angeles Times photograph, and it's showing searchlights converging in the night sky. In later reproductions, the image can look as if beams are fixed on a giant object. Now, this I find curious, and I have an issue with this next piece of information here. There's an important correction. The newspaper image was retouched to increase contrast for printing. That doesn't mean it was fabricated. It means the photograph cannot be treated as clean, unaltered proof of a flying object. Now, my contention with this is that if your largest reason for dismissing it all was that you increased the contrast, well, that just strikes me as a pile of hooey. You and I, as hobbyist photographers, know that when you increase your contrast, all you're going to do is lighten some parts and darken other parts, and you're going to get more information to look at. It's not going to alter what's there, and it you can't even argue pareidolia in an instance like that.
Increasing your contrast is more or less like putting on sunglasses.
Yeah.
It's like polarizing sunglasses.
So that to me is just plain dumb. Excuse my French. So, and this other idea that the paranormal version often gets ahead of the historical record.
Yeah.
And the claims that the military fired at an indestructible alien aircraft or that a huge saucer hovered over the city are not established by the available evidence. No.
Honestly, I don't go for that. I don't believe that, because first off, if they were shooting at an indestructible UFO, things would hit something. You would have heard it hitting something.
They
you would
did find fragments.
Yeah, but they would have blown up anyway. They
would have blown up. You're quite right.
Yeah.
You're quite right. So maybe they shot at an object that was phased. We know that they can phase their craft.
But what's the point?
What's the point?
Why would an alien ship sit there and get pummeled?
I don't know.
What did it need to do so bad?
I do not know. That's a good question. Why would it?
Yeah.
But then when you look at the photograph
to me just looks like a ball of light with two beams at it.
But it was big. It wasn't two beams. There was a whole series of spotlights all over the place, all converging on it.
Yeah, but it could just be all... I don't know. I mean...
I think that there was something there. I really do. When I look at that picture, it may not be an alien craft. Yeah, probably not a balloon, but there was
Definitely
something.
not a balloon.
There was something there.
It's
Was it a mirage?
I don't know, but it's definitely not a balloon because weather balloons are big sacks.
Okay. Now, one of the things at 2:25 they turned off the lights and turned on the sirens, but they didn't start bombing right away. They waited till like 3:30 or something like that.
3 o'clock, but
3 o'clock.
That's
so
normal.
35 minutes they took to eyeball this thing, and in that time, clouds are going to be moving.
Yeah, but that's normal because they would set the as soon as they saw it on their radar far enough to see it coming, which is also not common for a UFO because
Well, they had no radar data.
it said they did.
Their radar data didn't show anything.
It doesn't say that.
Doesn't it?
No.
No, you're kidding me.
No, it said based on radar. Rah, 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 rah. It doesn't say radar didn't show anything.
Oh.
You see, they had to have seen it coming to set off the sirens.
Oh, that messes me up now.
Yeah.
They had radar data. Well,
I don't think it was a UFO.
yeah.
I don't. I mean,
And we haven't checked any of our sources ourselves yet.
no, but
So we don't
honestly,
know quite what it was. We should check some of our own sources.
yeah, we could. But right now, before we do, I'm of the thinking that it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm of the thinking that it probably wasn't.
It could well have been a mass hysteria event. It could well have been. There may have been some anomaly or weather phenomena of some kind that caused it. But I don't know. It's really hard to balance out that mass hysteria and wartime fear with there being just absolutely nothing there to stimulate people to become so afraid.
Well, I'm not sure what it was, but you know, it did not behave the way that I have come to know from past, present experiences of my own and from research.
What if it was different species craft that behave differently? Because there are
What,
different
there'd
species
just
with
be
different
one?
type of craft. Maybe they sent it in and somebody else said, don't do that again.
I don't know.
There's so many theories, so many possibilities.
I don't know. I mean, but then again, you know, somebody might say, well, maybe they wanted everyone to know they're here. But then again, we had a flap right over the White House. Mm-hmm. Got caught on TV.
Yep.
And people were like, that's,
Baloney.
And that was back before video, before it was on actual film, on live TV.
Film and photograph.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
people-
witnesses.
and people still don't believe it.
We got.
But then
somebody
again,
wrote us about one. We did an episode on the White House.
Yeah.
You know, somebody wrote us a really wild account of what they'd seen.
What they saw. Yeah.
And that never made the papers.
I think it did.
No. I'm talking about the story that came in to us.
Oh, yeah. No, that never made the papers. Yeah. You know? I mean, it's crazy. I have no idea on this. We can do some more on it, you know.
Yeah, we might touch on this subject down the road here. So we leave it up to you to make your own decisions and your own choices.
Hey, and let us know what your choice is and why.
Yeah, just email it to sendittospookycoop@gmail.com.
That's right. And if you want to send a little voice wave or something, and it's really cool, we'll put it up in our next podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. We thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We're really glad you did. And I want to thank that we had a huge amount of people from Uzbekistan last month. Our statistics showed that tuned into us to join us. So, thank you, everybody in Uzbek. We did not expect that.
Tell us how to say thank you in your language.
Uzbek. I don't know what language they speak there.
I don't know.
I feel so ignorant.
That's probably why they listen.
Yeah. So I guess that's all for this evening, and we will be. You'll be hearing from us a lot sooner than our previous break. We've been working on a very long project that we just finished up in the last little bit.
Yeah, in and out and out and in.
So everybody be well, be
Yep.
safe. Until the next time when we see you in the spooky coop.